Hi everyone, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Ninja Gaiden Black on Master Ninja difficulty. This is Chapter 3. It's entitled Skies of Vengeance. So, concerning the 4 rooms besides the room that we start in, there's nothing to speak of. This is the only room that even has a single item here, but it's a map, which we don't need. But at least this allows us to fight a couple of battles, or a couple of foes rather, take these guys out. If you want to search the other 3 rooms, go for it. I'm just telling you that there's nothing in there. Usually they'll set a devil elixir on one of the tables or something, but here they don't do it. I think on very hard mode they stopped doing that, so here they're just continuing the trend. So we're trying to get the shutter. I believe it's the security card, so we can go into this door right here. And I'm just doing the tried and true methods here. You have to work with very little in these first chapters, but we will be able to start. First priority should probably be to upgrade your sword, and you might not be able to do it until like halfway through the chapter. I like the brevity of this chapter. I like how there's no fiend challenge in the storage room. There's just a bunch of cargo boxes. I like fiend challenges, but I've done this chapter so many times, and it's always one of those ones that's overly long because of that fiend challenge. And it's not even that hard either. It's just it is a good place to make money though. And here there's not going to be any fiend challenge, and you'll notice some differences in the architecture of this ship. Particularly in the next room, there's some promenades and columns that weren't there in Sigma that they just took out. So I'm doing UTs here, doing that downward stab. Take 3 stabs. That guy took 3 stabs right there. I was trying to wind path off. The wind path has iframes, so depend on that move. It's a very good move. So here's the wing key. That's what it was. So you can go back and save it if you want to, but there's a save point over here. No enemies out here, but you see that main thing wasn't that right there in Sigma. So we're going to go over here. There's only 2 doors that you can open. This first door over here, I think it only has a low... Oh, there's a Life of the Gods in the kitchen area. And then you can go and purchase stuff at Miramasa's shop or save it. And I was just checking how much money I have. It's not enough to buy the True Dragon Sword to level 2. That requires 5,000 of your essence. So I'm going to have to do quite a lot of battles to get some more of that essence. This is a tough fight because the camera is really poor here. And a lot of people, they complain about the camera in Ninja Gaiden, and it's justified. But this game is serviceable, in more ways than just the camera not working. I mean, if the gameplay wasn't as impeccable as it truly is, then we could start quibbling about the camera. But it's fine enough for me. I don't like to complain about it, especially a game that I hold a deep respect for and love. Also, the minimal space to work with over here, that's a problem. But yeah, the move that I'm doing here is just indispensable. You cannot get away. See how that guy, it was just nothing. The regular combo hits just won't work. XXY, it'll work sometimes. It'll kind of stun him and he'll reel back, but you really have to do the Azuna drop combo on these guys. There's other ways, but the way I'm telling you is the most clear-cut way that I could tell you how to do it. Anyway, so now that we're in this area, we can open this door, and so that we could go through this door and not have to circumvent the other side where the office was. So now with that door opened, we're going to go over here, and you notice that there's some enemies here that aren't in Sigma. So take care of these guys. The guys, all the enemies in this game that have rocket launchers, their HP is a lot less, and they don't have as much protective body armor as do like these thugs here, who don't have machine guns and rocket launchers and grenade launchers. So I like that balance. In Ninja Gaiden 3, don't even get me started. It's It's those guys that have the most body armor, the guys with the rocket launchers, and you can barely even hit them. So the only thing of note really in this room is the Golden Scarab. That first Golden Scarab, if you give it to Muramasa, every 5 that you give to Muramasa, he'll give you something. But when you give him the first one, he'll give you a smoke bomb in this difficulty. And when you give him 49, he'll give you something. And also when you get 50, you'll get something. So I will try my best to, if not verbally in these videos, then at least to write down what I'm getting for the cashing in those Golden Scarabs. This is a tough fight down here, and like every instinct in me wants to fly swallow that asshole in the purple suit right there who has the grenade launcher, but I can't fly swallow. The fly swallow is a technique that you have to have a level 2 weapon to get, and this fight didn't actually go really well. I did a lot better at some of my other runs, but then I would die in another room. But the counterattacks, the Azuna drop, and the guillotine throw, those are all techniques that are linked to scrolls, so you have to purchase them, and I believe they're purchasable after you turn in that Golden Scarab at Muramasa's, or I'm not really sure. I think after this battle, somewhere around the time when you upgrade your sword. I actually don't think before this whole section you could do it, but I did defeat this whole section, and then I went to the store, and then all the scrolls were available. This game really doles out things in very slow doses or dosages. So this guy's coming out of the elevator, and we're gonna have a couple more guys on either side of him. So there's 3 guys on me right now. So that guy just wouldn't die right there. So I'm going to try to stab. He's down. So a lot of these too is controller unresponsiveness, and I hate to blame the game or the hardware, the controller, but when I'm because I'm always blocking and I'm trying to evade away, and it just does not respond. It's either that or it's prioritizing the enemy's attacks. But a sad thing to know about this game is there's no Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang, and normally you would get it here in Sigma, and it makes dealing with those ghost fish so easy. And it's a good weapon. I like that weapon, and it was the one thing that helped me kill those ghost fish. Those ghost fish they almost ruined. Well, I wouldn't say they almost ruined this game, because nothing can almost ruin this game. It's just so good, but those goddamn ghost fish, they're worse than ever in this game. Worse than ever. But the nunchucks, because the nunchucks are like the Vigorian flail, so if you don't pick up the Vigorian flail, in my last campaign I didn't even pick up the Vigorian flail because I knew how similar the nunchucks were, and they just give you those by default on very hard mode. But there is a pretty good technique to deal with the ghost fish. I mean, one technique that I was employing very heavily before I even started messing around with combos with the nunchucks was to just use the art of the fire wheels on any and all ghost fish that I saw. But when I got to the core level, I was using up way too much magic. And if I haven't mentioned it before, all your carrying capacity for all your items is drastically reduced in this mode. I believe that the Talismans of Rebirth, you can carry 2, because you pick one up later in this stage, and there's another one that you can buy, but I didn't have enough money, so it works that way in Sigma too. So basically you can carry 5 low potions, 2 high potions, and I think 2 low of the red potions, and no, I think it's 3 low red potions and 2 high potions of the devil, the red potions. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anybody who's played this game knows what I'm talking about. And you can carry 2 Talismans of Rebirth. I'm pretty sure about that. Because I was kind of skeptical when I was playing Ninja Gaiden Sigma. on very hard mode, they let you carry 2 Talismans of Rebirth, and I was worried that when I got to Master Ninja mode, they would reduce the quantity that you can carry by 1 for the Talismans of Rebirth, but it wasn't so. You can carry 2 on Sigma, and I believe you can carry 2 here too. Yeah, that is definitely something that you have to realize. You have to not use so many items and not be too dependent on items. I mean, items are what they are. They're to heal you. They're to refill your magic. They're to bring you back from death. And anyway, so I apologize for speaking over this battle, but this is a long chapter, and I do need to discuss quite a few things here. So once we slay all those guys, we're going to continue turning this crank here, and then we're going to have some flying drones plus some enemies. Now, these flying drones here, they yield nothing, no orbs, but it's just as well because in Sigma they gave you a pittance anyway. But again, you cannot fire a projectile, an arrow, or an explosive arrow, or anything like that, or a steel core rod while you're jumping. So, the one good thing I will say about the aiming is that it pretty much, like when you start to aim, it'll aim right at the enemies. So it's really nice. But with no sight reticule, it's not even that convenient. So I'm going to take care of these fools over across the way. Then I'm going to take out those drones. But I mean, come on, to not be able to fire an explosive from the air on particularly these enemies here. So a lot of the times, I don't even bother with the strongbow or the explosive arrows or the steel core rods. I just use the windmill shuriken. On the drones, it works fantastic. See how he kind of pointed in the direction of the enemies? That was nice right there. I just detest those enemies right there. They're just such a nuisance. I mean, they yield nothing. That's what kind of an enemy that is right there. Anyway, to hell with those enemies. What we're going to do is jump onto this cable here and cross the abyss. This is the fastest you can go, so don't worry about it. And then on the other side, we're going to have some enemies. If you're really concerned about dying over on the next section, I would probably advise you to go back and save it. You won't have to do the, if you die, well, if you did die over here, you would have to do the whole sequence we just did a moment ago, but press down and down and A to jump off those cables. Now, you see how I'm moving the camera around? I'm just trying to see where this guy is, and I'm very cautious here because you'd be surprised how easy it is to just fall off the ship. See, he didn't fall off the ship here, but he will in a minute. I don't have the guillotine throw. The guillotine throw works well to just throw them, just throw them off. But if you miss them, you'll go off. So that's the thing about that. So I'm doing the Azuna drop combo, just in safety and in slow actions here. Now this box down here, this has. I thought it contained the bats that have detonating devices on them, exploding bats, if you will. But it looks like these bats are just traditional bats. The bats in the storage room where the Talisman of Rebirth and the next Golden Scarab are, those are the exploders. So I will point that box out so you can avoid it. So once you get in here, you just want to smash these machines here. Just smash them all, and he'll stop moving, and then we'll get the little voice over the intercom telling us that there's a threat on board, and they're going to have the emergency locks lifted as a precaution, which is kind of contradictory, but it does serve our purposes for needing to go into doors that were previously locked. So no enemies over here. In Sigma, they actually placed some enemies over here. Okay, so now you definitely should consider upgrading to the level 2 Dragon Sword. I don't believe you can upgrade the Lunar. It's pretty strict in that regard. But you really should not have any excuse to not be able to buy the level 2 upgrade. Ayane actually suggests it in one of the kunai scrolls that she throws. So we're going to save it over here, save our data. And now we're going to go back to the area where we started originally and pick up the Talisman of Rebirth, as well as that second Golden Scarab. And if I'm not mistaken, there are no more enemy encounters until we exit the room after we get out of this room here. You can just go to the left right there and save it if you want to. So over here, this is where the Fiend Challenge was in Sigma, but there's obviously not enough room to work that Fiend Challenge with all these boxes here. So there's the Talisman of Rebirth, and down here is the Golden Scarab, the second one, and the box that I'm not getting across the way that has the exploding bats in it. So I'm just not going to get it. It's not worth it. And the contents of the box it's never going to change. So if I say it's going to be exploding bats, that's exactly what it is if you're playing on the Master Ninja mode. So at least I can fly swallow now. I did make my upgrade, so I have the level 2 dragon sword, but that does not mean I can do the Azuna drop. I have to buy a scroll for that. It's fascinating to see some of the changes and, you know, like the directorial decisions and the game decisions behind all these games. Because, I don't know, it's just, you know, some moves are linked to certain levels of the sword. And some others are, you know, you have to buy a scroll for them. Anyway. See that parry? That was a Y parry right there. I tore that guy up. See, now I'm having a little bit more versatility that I can bring you guys in my gameplay and just playing more fun. And I play worse when I can't do the moves that I'm accustomed to doing, like parrying. Parrying is so crucial in battle, and it's just really good. Anyway, here's Golden Scarab number 3. So there's real no reason to give these to Muramasa until you get 5. But the boss for this level is going to be Dynamo, and I was so relieved in a subsequent chapter to not see that because in Sigma they reskin that enemy into like the same exact enemy, and they made you fight them twice in the game. But here they don't do that kind of uncreative stuff here. So there's no... what was he called? He's called Dynamo, and then when you fight the guy again, I can't remember what he was called, but he was the same guy, and it was just a total nuisance. Anyway, there's a safe statue. Feel free to save it whenever you want to. I mean, you could save it even though there's enemies on the screen. Ninja Gaiden 2 didn't like you to do that, but that must have been for a reason. Anyway, so for the Dynamo boss fight, here I'm going to drag Essence. See? Why jump down when I could just drag it up to my person? Also make sure that you pull this lever and then save it. If you well, that should just be a rule of thumb anyway, because there's no checkpoint on any boss in this game, which is really bad. But it's not like I was expecting that, having played Sigma so much. But here we're going to fight the boss, and I get grabbed an embarrassing number of times, and I actually use my Talisman of Rebirth, but I didn't want to keep using a lot of healing at him. So you see I did a fly swallow at him, and that caused him to try to grab me. So I did it again. He tried to melee me. See, when he does that pulse, you need to move out of the way onto the sides of the arena. So for right now, he's got a couple of lackeys, and he's shooting his gun, and it's not going particularly fast. The more health you take off him, the faster he's going to shoot his gun. So what I like to do is just let him try to grab me, and then I'll go back and do the Azuna drop. And then normally when he's like, the best situation to be is be overhead while he's trying to grab you from below, and then when you come down, he'll be done with his trying to grab you. Let's see if it happens over here. So basically, let him try to hit you. Go and see, that was a failed Azuna drop on my part. See, Azuna drop, he couldn't grab me. I rolled away, and then I tried to roll back, but he just grabbed me. It's hard to not get grabbed here, and I don't like the environment here. It's just that because it's on an incline and he's in the center of it, and it dips down on both sides. I mean, just do the Azuna drop, evade, see if he's grabbing you, see if he's grabbing, just see what he's doing. I mean, if you've got enough items here, this should be okay for you. I mean, if you need extra help, go for make a purchase to use some of your Nimpo. And then the Inferno is very effective at dealing a lot of damage off this boss. So I just wanted to take care of business here. He's not the hardest boss in the world, but I don't care for him at all, and he's very annoying. And he's just a formality. We got to get this guy out of the way so we can move on. Some bosses in this game, I just treat them as formalities, and I don't particularly care how well I play or how poorly I play, but a lot of the bosses, contrarily, are very fun to fight, and I actually do very much care how I perform. So he should be going down right over here. There he goes. And I will see you guys in the next chapter. It's Chapter 4. This was Chapter 3, The Skies of Vengeance. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're enjoying the guide. Thank you.